All right, we are going to get started, so please take your seats and we will get going with the evening. All right. Good evening. My name is Ross Simple. I'm the athletic director here at Dakota Wesleyan. We have a ton of things to be excited about at DWU, and obviously tonight is one of those things with a lot of people getting tremendous recognition, very well-deserved recognition, and seeing so many alumni and friends and family. That's a huge part of what we're trying to do and what we're trying to build and what you were hopefully a part of while you were here. And so we're going to get started and get going with things. But before we do that, I just wanted to say thank you for being here. And we're going to get started with some thank yous, and then I'll turn it over to our president, Dr. Kittle, have a quick prayer, and then we'll start to eat. So that's kind of our schedule so far. So a few things that we want to, people that we want to thank, our support staff, some of which are working here, some of them are over actually at volleyball right now. That's going on with our JV game. But Marlene Warnke, our business manager, Jason Christensen, our associate AD, who's over at volleyball right now, Celeste Beck, our senior women's administrator, Matt Schwarzler, our sports information director, who's here tonight, and then Danny and Landon, our GAs in our sports information department, who are at volleyball. Dixie and Lori helping out with registration back there. Appreciate their help. Dr. Kittle, Jory Hansen, it's here in our advancement department. He's here tonight with us as well. Tim Smith and Rod Pattison, we'll hear from them later on tonight, reading the bios of our inductees, and so I'm excited to hear them and get them introducing our candidates, which we're super excited for. Our IT group, Eric and Noor helping with all of our tech things, our lights, our visuals, our physical plant, Sandy. I don't know how many events have happened in here just this week, and what we got going on after tonight with different events. So we appreciate her and our whole physical plant. Fresh ideas for catering the meal. Our cheer and dance team is actually serving the meal. So if you get a chance to talk to them, they've done a great job. They've been busy as well with the event last night with the Legacy Banquet, and then again tonight. And then our Hall of Fame committee. I'm just going to list that group, and they're listed in your programs as well. But this group it really does a lot of work in terms of the conversations. The meetings that we had was about 3 hours long, and there's a tremendous group that we're inducted into the Hall of Fame, and there's a lot of people that still got talked about that, still need to be in. And so this group does a tremendous job of that. Tom Bell, Craig Cheeseman, Kyle Gerlach, Jory Hansen, Kurt Hart, Joe Kramer, Jerry Miller, Kendra Cheeseman, Mutter, Matt Schwarzler, Wayne Thuey, Dan Wagner, Ashley Johnson, Waldner, and Marlene Warnke. If we give those guys a round of applause, I'd appreciate it. One of the last thank yous I have is just for our coaches, and some of them are here. Like I said, some of them are coaching volleyball right now, but we have an unbelievable group of coaches that I'm fortunate to be a part of. They make my job very easy. We're going to talk about some of the highlights just within our department here in a little bit after we get done eating, but we have an unbelievable group of coaches, and obviously we'll have a team getting inducted tonight with another tremendous coach, and those people make this experience at Dakota Wesleyan very special, and that's why it's exciting to have everybody back. At this time, I'd like to invite our president, Dr. Dan Kittle, to give some presidential greeting.
Thank you, Ross. It's great to see you all here tonight. I just want to extend a warm welcome to you. I know that some of you didn't drive far. You're from here in Mitchell, but I also know there's some that have come from afar, including Virginia, Colorado, Minnesota, and probably others. And so I hope, whether it's from close by or far away, that you feel like you're coming home. We always aspire for this place to be that kind of place for you that you feel connected to forever. And I hope tonight is another connection for you and part of that process. To the honorees, on behalf of the university and our Board of Trustees, congratulations. This is the highest honor athletically that the institution can bestow, and I hope you feel pride in that accomplishment tonight. So we look forward to celebrating you. One of the other things that you might just be curious about in terms of the status of athletics on campus today, and I wanted to make 2 points about that very briefly. One is that earlier this week we had coronation, which is the opportunity for all of our homecoming candidates, and then ultimately our king and queen, who are seniors, to address the campus community. And when they did that earlier this week, more than not, they were student athletes who talked about the positive experience they were having with their teammates, with their coaches, and also with the Mitchell community. And so that culture, that spirit of athletics was so alive and present and unprompted from those student athletes. And so that's just one indicator I hope that you can sense and feel that athletics is an important part of this place and this culture. The second is one that Ross had mentioned, and he is an important leadership role, has an important leadership role in terms of our coaches and our athletic administration. And I wanted at this time, if you're a current or past coach or current member of the athletic administration or past, if you would please stand so we can recognize you. This is also a good example of how hard it is to work with Ross Simple. He didn't stand. So he's a good leader, but doesn't take a direction well. No, I love you, Ross. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So those people that stood and those that, as Ross mentioned, are out serving our athletes currently, either at practice or competition, are just an important part of this institution. And I hear it from students, I hear it from alumni, and we want to continue to build on that culture. And you're going to hear some things tonight, and you're going to hear some things in the future that are exciting about DWU athletics, and I want to champion those efforts and help lead those efforts, and I want you to be a part of them as well. So I'm just really pleased to have you here tonight, and I wanted to extend that welcome. At this time, I'd like to invite my colleague, the Reverend Dr. Anthony Purcell, who is our campus pastor, to come forward and offer a prayer.
Evening, friends. Ross told me to keep this quick, so I told him I'd cut it down to 3 pages of pre-prayer introductory remarks. I'm just kidding. I like to make Ross sweat, as I think most of us do. No, thank you so much for being here tonight. It's exciting to gather and to celebrate you in the spirit of teamwork here at Dakota Wesleyan. So let's pray together before we eat. Oh God, we do just praise you for this chance to come together and celebrate excellence, God. We're so thankful for this community here that embodies your calling to lean in, give all we have, and pursue your kingdom vision as one team. So God, may each of us train ourselves, support each other, and run the race which you have set before us, so that we might be able to say, we too have fought the good fight, we too have finished the race, we too have kept the faith. We praise you, God, for this food, for this fellowship, and ask that you bless the hearts and hands who've made this moment possible for us. In the name of Jesus, our Lord and Savior, amen. All right, friends, I'll let you eat.
All right, got it? Okay. We're going to get started. I know a lot of you are still finishing up, and please continue to do so. Eat your desserts, all those things. I mentioned last night was a legacy banquet. I actually walked out of here with a whole cake at the end of the night. So, I mean, dessert can definitely wait until the end, or just keep eating it, either way. I got a couple announcements, and then I'm going to invite the inductees and their presenters on stage after I get done talking a little bit. Just want to give some highlights from an athletic perspective, but before that, obviously we have a lot of things we want to talk about, a lot of positives, but Dr. Kittle is kind of picking on me there a little bit because I didn't stand, and I appreciate the relationship that we have, but I was going to tell him this privately, but since he kind of opened the door for me, Marlene did text me, and he did not pay, so we will need to, if you could settle up before you leave, and you're plus one, so that's $40 that we'll need. In all seriousness, to have him here and his wife Ashley, I think does show the commitment to athletics and something that I do appreciate. That we can have this and move forward with what we got going on. I do have a few more things, and I know some of you are probably going to be annoyed by this, but I'm taking a page out of Kurt and John's book. John Hart, the previous athletic director, I have his office now, right, and I have his computer. And John and I are different in a lot of ways, but organization is probably the biggest. And so I asked John, I said, hey, when I can, we got Hall of Fame stuff. I want to be able to reference, your script and how you did things and whatever else. He's like, I said, so do you have everything in folders? I have everything in folders, right? Hall of Fame is a folder. Eligibility is a folder, whatever. John says, no, I just have them all in one spot, and then I search the name of the document. And I said, well, that's going to be a problem for me, John. I don't know how you named everything. So, but this is one thing that I did find in his script that I think is a great thing that he's done and Kurt's done when I attended these as a coach. We have a ton of alumni here and obviously a lot of inductees, but if you're an alum of Dakota Wesleyan, please stand. The reason I do that is obviously, it's great to have everybody back here, but also some of these updates that I'm going to give, hopefully, stir some pride in terms of what you have and your experience while you were here, whether that was 10 years ago or maybe more than that. And campus has changed in that time. And so just some highlights that I wanted to kind of go through, to get started, just about our athletic department and kind of a direction, I guess, of where we're trying to get to and some goals. Randy Christensen, one of our athletic trainers, was named the GPAC Athletic Trainer of the Year last year. DWU was named an NAI Champions of Character Gold 5-star institution for the 4th year in a row, which is obviously significant, but more significant than that is we were only one of 11 schools out of 250 to be named 4 years in a row. Like, it's not just, hey, good job. It's you're doing it better than almost everybody else. And that, again, goes back to our kids, goes back to our coaches. Landon Rusink, dual sport athlete, all-conference baseball player, all-conference football player. He'll play tomorrow from Del Rapids, South Dakota. Won the National AO Doer Award, which is the most prestigious award in the NAI. DWU has had 3 winners since 2013. No other school in the NAI can say that. I mean, we're literally the best school in the country when it comes to those awards and the people that are, that's nominations. That's obviously high character people, coaches doing nominations, letters of recommendation. Joel Reinisch, our faculty athletic rep, doing those things. And, the only school in the country that has had 3 winners. Incredible stuff. Just some things from this fall. Obviously, we've got a winter sports season that's starting. We got basketball starting on Tuesday in the Corn Palace. But just players of the week this fall with our fall sports. We've had 13 GPAC players of the week, 1 NAI player of the week. Football's had 1. Volleyball has had 2. 2 individuals 2 different times. Men's soccer's had 3 players of the week. Women's soccer's had 1 player of the week. Men's golf has 2, and then women's golf has had 3. just an unbelievable start to the fall season, and not just on the field and on the courts and things like that, but academically. These are last year's numbers. 15 of our 17 varsity sports are ranked in the top 5 in the GPAC in terms of team GPA. And that's a pretty significant deal. We also have 7 teams in the top 5 in the country. Literally nobody's doing it better than us. And or one team from an academic perspective is doing it better than us. So you alumni that stood and you supporters that are here, what you're doing and what you're supporting is legitimate stuff. It's kids working their tails off. It's coaches that are working their tails off, and they're doing it at an extremely high level. And we get a chance to recognize some people that did it here at an extremely high level from an academic perspective and athletic perspective as well. So, again, thank you. The last thank you that I wanted to give was, I kind of alluded to it, any supporters, whether that be financially, whether that be, anything that you're doing to help our kids out, host parents, our team maker group in terms of what we do and what they do and the money that we're raising and the scholarships that we're giving out. We've also kind of used that platform to help our GA programs. Some of you have maybe been GAs here, and that's a program that we want to make better. And so Team Makers has stepped up and done that. Corporate sponsors, paying for national tournaments, travel, food, whatever it is. Last year, again, in the winter sports time, men's wrestling, women's wrestling, track, men's basketball, women's basketball, we are the only GPAC team that had a national qualifier in every single winter sport. And those corporate sponsorship and those monies go towards that. And then just individual team fundraising. I know our coaches do a lot of stuff, and they ask a lot, and they don't hear no very often. And we really, really appreciate all those things that you do for us financially and whatever else. And we're working on some new things. Like I said, there's some facility things that we want to have and we want to make better, and getting some teams back on campus and maybe putting a piece of turf down here or there. So what I'm saying is, us asking isn't going to stop. Just so that we're all clear. We appreciate what you've done, but we're gonna, anyways. That's a different conversation. But there are some tremendously exciting things happening previously and now going forward. And so I just wanted to say thank you, and it's a privilege for me to be just a piece of that. So thank you for that. At this time, if our inductees would come to the stage, and just men's basketball, I'm going to have Coach Wilbur and Kurt. I don't have a chair for all of you, unless you want to sit on each other's laps. But you guys come on up. And then Tim Smith and Rod Pattison will also be assisting us tonight with our induction. So everybody should have assigned seats. Thank you, Marlene. Presenters as well. I saw Mike Barno sitting back down. Coach Belling, thank you. Everybody can go ahead and have a seat. Have a seat. Like I mentioned, we got a volleyball game to get to, so we're changing up our schedule here a little bit. I also want to mention before I forget, there's flags and all sport guides on your tables. Make sure when you leave, grab those and take them. But at this time, I'm going to turn things over. We're going to have a kind of a dueling pianos, if you will, with Tim Smith and Rodney J, and we appreciate them being a part of this night and going through this process with us. And so I'm going to turn it over to Tim Smith, and we're going to get started with our first induction of Mel Peterson.
Thanks, Ross. I appreciate it, and thanks for asking me and Rod to be part here tonight. Welcome to homecoming weekend. Fun time here on campus, and just great to see everybody. You basketball guys haven't aged at all. I can't figure it out. I get old in a hurry. You guys look great. Mel Peterson, track and field, class of 1986. Peterson stands as one of Dakota Wesleyan's track and field's top athletes with long-standing records and marks in multiple distance events. The Portland, Oregon native holds the outdoor record of 1449.84 in the 5,000 meter run, which still stands as the all-time best at Dakota Wesleyan. Peterson sits third all-time in DWU history in the 1,500 meter run, a time of 3:59.84. In indoor marks, he initially set the 1,500 meter record indoors and then later lowered it outdoors. Mel was a repeat SDIC conference champion at 1,500 meters and at 5,000 meters as well. And he won both the 10,000 meters and 5,000 meter events at the District 12 regional championships when he was a senior. Academically, Mel Peterson was the number one graduate in the class of 1986, graduating summa cum laude. In addition, it was my pleasure way back when to name him the KMIT Radio Student Athlete of the Year in 1986. I'm sure the best award he's ever had until tonight. Following his time at Dakota Wesleyan, Mel enlisted in the United States Air Force, eventually to become a colonel, serving nearly 29 years in various flying and staff positions. He continued to compete while on active duty in the U.S. Air Force, winning the Armed Forces 10,000 meter championships, competing at 5 world military events, and even getting to compete for a German track club for a time. Mel currently resides in Williamsburg, Virginia, with his wife Dawn, who also graduated from Dakota Wesleyan in 1985. At this time, Ross Simple will be presenting a plaque. Welcome our newest inductee to the Dakota Wesleyan Athletic Hall of Fame, Mel Peterson.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for the applause. I really appreciate it. First, let me say how great it is to be back at Dakota Wesleyan, and what an honor it is to be standing here today. It's really not anything I'd ever planned on receiving, and I'm grateful that you've rolled back the clock to the 1980s to recognize my accomplishments and my contributions to athletics here at Wesleyan. And it's been 39 years since I've been on campus, and it looks amazing. For me, my athletic journey actually began as a BMX bike racer, if you can believe that. So before running in the late 70s, that's what I did. And it was a really cool bike too, by the way. I was naturally fast though, so in junior high, my 9th grade year, a friend talked me into going out for track. And the first race we did was the mile time trial, which ironically I won. So those early days for me were spent doing the 4x1 relay, if you can believe that, the 1500 and the 4x4. But I was really good at the 1500, and that was my passion. So that's what I focused on. That BMX bike I mentioned, it'd be sold the next summer to pay my way to go to a track camp in Whidbey Island, Washington. And there I met Steve Prefontaine's college roommate, Pat Tyson. So he was my camp counselor, and the lady that ran the program was Doris Brown. And if you look back in the history books in the 60s, she held virtually every distance record for the U.S. at that time. Those two were a great duo. They provided a lot of inspiration, and they further stoked the fire that I already had going for track and field. For here, my journey here, it was sometime my junior year that Steve Andreessen, the coach, contacted me. He'd sent a letter. He actually came out to visit, and at that point, the decision was made. I was going to come to DWU. But ironically, when I arrived, Steve had left. So I was really fortunate that Randy Sitzman, the next coach, had stepped up to take the program by my sophomore year. And Randy would become really a pivotal to my success here at Wesleyan. I'm going to talk about him more in a little bit because I know he's listening here this evening. My early days here had another twist, though. When I first got here, I came from Portland, Oregon. There's mountains and landmarks. There was none of that. And so it was a bit disorienting, and I got lost a lot of times running out in Mitchell. But then the first winter hit. And that shock and awe is what prompted me to go try life as a track athlete in Eugene, Oregon. So after a semester, I left. Eugene was great. But I have to be honest, I miss Dawn. We've now been married 40 years, and I miss the athletic and academic environment here. The people were incredible, and you just can't be replaced. So the winters remained a challenge in my time here after returning. We didn't have the beautiful indoor complex you have today. We didn't have treadmills. So what I would do is layer up in 3 layers sometimes, get a lot of winter wind burn, and to get ready for the indoor meets, I do a lot of creative sprints out in the snow. And that's what we had, and that's what I did, and it worked. Randy had also encouraged us to dig up the football team's ladder ropes that you do the sprint drills through countless times in the gym. And what that did is it actually refined my kick. So more technique, less overtraining, which I had a tendency to do. It worked, and it allowed me to win a lot of races as a result. Randy's influence was a godsend to me. I'm grateful for the confidence he had in my abilities through my entire tenure here, and his guidance on and off the track. But Randy just didn't help me build my lungs and legs, he also helped me build the brakes. As I said, I'd overtrained early on in my career and actually suffered iron anemia as a freshman, but he helped me get over that. In the off season, I had to learn to pull the throttles back like a jet engine in a fighter, landing to recover for the next sortie. With Randy's help, by my sophomore year, the championships and the records started to come. And by my senior year, I had an even better season, winning a number of races, repeating the conference titles, and as you heard, winning the 10 and 5,000 double in the district championships, which was my first time running the 10, but it was a long-standing goal for Randy and I. I have to say, though, my real turning point here in my experience at Wesleyan was in the academic arena and what I achieved in that environment. It was really the foundation for what would come next in my life and my Air Force career. My dedication combined with the environment here really made that a reality, and I'm very thankful to everybody that helped me along. So as the graduation approached, I had to make a decision about career, and that decision was join the Air Force without any insider knowledge that I'd spend nearly 29 years active duty and doing some of the amazing things that I got to do. Especially after student teaching at the junior high level, I needed a plan B because that was not going to work for me, I'll tell you right now. I love the kids, but I couldn't do it every day. As you can see from a lot of the photos that have been displayed, I had some amazing opportunities, flying a number of fighter aircraft, a special duty assignment as an academic course director and flight instructor at the Air Force Academy, and I also worked with the cadets on the track as well and competed with them too. They were amazing. It was very different than my junior high experience. And finally, I'd play a key role in the development of the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter, really as their system and software expertise. I never missed an opportunity to compete through those years, and I had some pretty elite training groups I worked with, and it was special. But without question, the best assignment I ever had was Germany, and I'll tell you why. Upon arrival, I quickly found my way into a German cross-country meet, and one of the pictures that was displayed was me in an Air Force singlet, and that was at that meet. So I was immediately picked up by a local club. That was Ludwig Basel, and Father Lou became a great friend. Sadly, he passed away earlier this year, but I know he's here in spirit today, and if he was alive, he would be here. Thanks to Ludwig and my friends in the club, because they helped me experience a dream. Flying, living, and competing in Europe, all while enjoying the best wine in the world, and building a collection of cuckoo clocks that rivals a small museum. Before I wrap this up, there's a few people I want to thank and recognize, and the first is my wife, Dawn, and daughter, Audrey, sitting over here. Thank you for being there through my Air Force journey for 29 years and traveling to all the meets we went to while I was chasing, trial standard and things like that. It allowed me to do what I love on and off the track, and I'm thankful. And I'm honored to have members of Don's family here today. Doug and Deb, Dave and Joni, and Denise, thank you so much for your continued support. To the people of Dakota Wesleyan University, the experience and challenges here are exactly what I needed to grow. I was brought here as an athlete, but as it turns out, I was also led to the finish line by the classroom, and it made all the difference in my life after that. Lastly, I hope that our stories serve as an example to the next generation of student athletes at Dakota Wesleyan, that they could look at our journey and see what's possible when you combine faith, hard work, and a crowd that truly cares. It's their ticket anywhere, just as it was for me. God bless you all, and thank you.
I will also take time to thank Ross Simple and everyone in the athletic department for allowing me to be such a small part of such a great event. It's an honor, a privilege, and a pleasure, especially as an alum. Our next inductee was a football player from the class of 1994, Russ Bailey. Bailey transferred to Dakota Wesleyan ahead of the 1991 football season, and he made an immediate impact and a long-lasting impression for a stout Tiger defense through 1993. He was named first-team all-conference all 3 years as a Tiger, and he was named the team's defensive MVP following the 92 season. Bailey was part of a Dakota Wesleyan football team that won 22 games in 3 seasons and was a key contributor during that 1992 unforgettable season, which saw the Tigers going undefeated 10-0. Following his time at Wesleyan, Bailey became a regionally acclaimed football and throws coach in western South Dakota, being an esteemed member of the Custer community, where he currently coaches and teaches. He was named the South Dakota Football Coaches Association Region 8 Coach of the Year in 2011. South Dakota High School Coaches Association Girls Assistant Coach of the Year in 2021 season. He's won several Crazy Horse Division championships throughout his career. And Bailey was also on the coaching staff for numerous state placing track teams at Custer High School. Russell currently resides in Custer with his wife, Amy, and their 3 children, Rhett, Rianne, and Rio. On a personal note, 3.5 years ago, I had been battling some health issues, and word got out that my family needed some help around our house for some spring work. Coach Bailey had brought his track and field team over to Sioux Falls for the state track meet. But Coach Bailey brought 4 of his student athletes with him, came to our house, and helped with our family. And that epitomizes leadership, faith, and service. Former Tiger Travis McIntosh is here to present the plaque to honor the newest member of the Dakota Wesleyan Athletics Hall of Fame, to Russ Bailey.
So when Coach Simple called me up, he said, well, congratulations, you're being inducted into the Hall of Fame. And I said, well, kind of caught back, didn't know what to say, thank you. And he says, there'll be more information to follow. He hangs up. I didn't know whether or not I was going in as a football player or a member of the cheerleading squad. I got 2 speeches. So I'll save the cheerleading one, Ronnie, for when we get in. All right. As Rod said, I transferred in here to Dakota Wesleyan in '91. What brought me to Dakota Wesleyan? It was a phone call, okay? And most of you might think it was a phone call coming from Coach Kramer. It was actually a phone call from my father. And the phone call started like this. It was in the spring. We were just getting done calving. It was time to start working cows. And had a lot of Friday afternoon phone calls that went, what are you doing tomorrow? And of course, I'm thinking fast, something not working cows, something not working cows. Working cows tomorrow, I'll see you in the morning. And I'm like, all right, we're coming home. Oh, and by the way, stop in Mitchell and see Coach Kramer at Dakota Wesleyan. And this is kind of a little bit out of the blue. My dad knew I was kind of looking around to go somewhere else. And apparently, Coach Kramer figured out that I was about to enter the portal.
and had put together a huge NIL deal. And he just could not wait to let me know about this. Now, the best part about this is any of us that went to Dakota Wesleyan back there knows that you get that joke. There wasn't a huge scholarship fund back there. But why Wesleyan? I stopped in his office, and it was actually me and my brother walked in there, and he started talking about football, and it was no nonsense like Coach Kramer is. You know, come here, we can play. You can play this, you can play that. And then he started naming names. You know, Bob Corneli's playing here. Bob Corneli out of Todd County played against him in high school. Ron Bartles, Brad Young, Wes McGuire, Darren Johnson, and he started naming all these names that I knew. And it's like, you know what? Let's really think about this seriously. Maybe we go to Wesleyan and play with a bunch of guys that you knew, and just play football. So I show up at Wesleyan, and I proceed to realize that, you know what? We had an interesting team. I mean, we seriously had an interesting team. We had more walk-ons probably than we had scholarship athletes. We probably had, we had 8 or 9 transfer guys that came in just to play the game. We had a nose guard who was about 5'8" and weighed about 200 pounds after lunch. We had a rush in. His name was Spicoli, and you can about imagine why. And we had a skinny little linebacker from Mission, South Dakota, that when he showed up, I looked at him and went, there's no way. But 5 years later and 10 pounds more, he was still playing football. We had a tight end named Squid. We had we had a free safety named Lunch, and because he was out too. We had an old man playing linebacker only when he wasn't combining. We had another linebacker that actually failed the flexibility test in fall camp. And if you guys know what that is, it's a sit and reach. He couldn't reach. I don't know if he could sit very well sometimes. You know, we had this guy, we had that guy. We had a bunch of guys that, you know what, I had one of my teammates said, hey, congratulations on going in. It was fun playing with you. I said, man, we were the bad news bears of football. And we were a different team. And we weren't the biggest, we weren't the fastest, but man, we had a lot of fun playing football. And that's what we did, is we played football, and we played it as hard as you could. We played it with an attitude. There wasn't a team we played that we didn't think we could beat. And there wasn't a person on the field that didn't think they were the toughest person on the field. And we all knew if we weren't the toughest, we at least had the toughest on our team, Ron Bartles. But we loved the game. We had coaches that knew how to direct us. Coach Kramer, Coach Culver, Coach Trado, Coach Buffington, Coach McNichols. I mean, and these guys took all of this odds and ends and put it together into a pretty good football team. And we played hard. We played to the end. I think even when the seasons were over, the only thing, we weren't mad about losing. We were just mad because we had to check in our pads. And that's the way the game's supposed to be played. I was so happy that I actually took that phone call and I actually came home to work Cavs, because I've met people that I'll never forget. I've met people that, you know, had huge impacts on my life. Boy, it's been a pleasure to be. Wesleyan, they talk about it being a family, and it is. I mean, and I remember we had who was the little lady that did all the baking at the cafeteria? Pat was her name, I think. And she would sneak you pieces of pie because she liked you. I mean, it was about as family and atmosphere as you could get. In fact, one day my dad even invited Coach Kramer to a family event after a football game, and it kind of went a little bit like this. Coach Kramer, we're branding cows tomorrow. You coming, or is Russ? And you know, you have to know how to handle players, and Coach did a great job handling us and getting us all to play together. I'd like to thank the committee. I'd like to thank my family, my wife Amy, son Rhett. I think he's out there in the back. His wife Laura, granddaughter number 2. All my friends from Custer, all my friends that I played with, all my friends from here in Mitchell. It's been a great ride. Okay, it was a pleasure to be here, and I thank you very much for this award.
Oh, I could tell you stories. I told Bartles he might have been invited to speak tonight, but this was not an X-rated event. You talk about a feisty group. Offensive, defensive line. These are guys you wanted to go to war with, I'll tell you what. That was quite a team. Congratulations to you, Ruts. Let's stay with football. Our next inductee, Francois Barneau, class of 2014. Barneau, a native of Belfouche, South Dakota, and without question, one of Dakota Wesleyan football's most dynamic running backs in history. During his time as a member of the football team, he racked up 3,558 total yards rushing. That stands second all-time in program history. He totaled 31 touchdowns, good for 7th Dakota Wesleyan football career scoring. Barneau holds the first and the second place single-season rushing records. 1,893 yards in his 2013 campaign, and then followed that up with, of course, every opponent trying to stop him, followed that up with 1,409 rushing yards as a senior. He was named first team All-GPAC twice, a BSN All-American, the team's most valuable player and offensive MVP 2 years in a row. Following football, Fran has spent time out in western South Dakota as the owner of a ranch, including running a beef cattle operation, and has been an organic crop inspector for the past decade. He currently resides in Mount Pleasant, Michigan, with his wife Cecily, 3 daughters, Quinn, Eden, and Delaney. On a personal note, this guy was a pleasure to watch play football. I mean, one of those rare talents. The guy was tough enough when he hit the line, he could knock people over, and then give him an opening, breakaway speed, he could outrun everybody on the field. Please welcome older brother Mike Barneau as he presents his plaque to younger brother and newest inductee to our Hall of Fame, Fran Barneau.
Go to show you a difference in generations, I guess. I bring a phone, they bring paper, so whatever. I'm not cheating, I swear. It's just... First of all, I'd just like to thank the Dakota Wesleyan Hall of Fame Committee, for voting me in. It means a lot. I did not think that I would ever be here. This wasn't a goal of mine, but I'm very appreciative of it, and I just thanks. And I mean, if you can't tell, a little nervous, but I do have quite a few former teammates in the audience right now, and they would probably all tell you that was really good at talking on the field, not great at this, so I'm gonna give it a shot, but just bear with me. But first of all, I'd just like to thank my family. I got a big family, so I'm not going to do a big story for the most part, mostly thank yous. Got a gigantic family, so. But my brothers, Tim, Andre, and Michael, sisters, Jacqueline, Mary, and Bernadette, guys have pretty much been there all the way and appreciated everything you've always done for me. Tim, being all-time quarterback on the gravel way back when me and Michael played one-on-one football when we were 6 and 8 years old. Probably playing tackle football on gravel, which probably wasn't great, but probably part of the reason I'm standing here too. So, Michael, just individually, is somebody that I really appreciate because 100% without him, I definitely would not be here. Because in my first couple years of college, I was kind of lazy, didn't work very hard, just kind of thought I had it all figured out already. And he. No offense to Michael, but I was more talented than he was naturally. Not bragging, but he worked so hard. He was so dedicated to being a great football player. He
he was way better than me, 2 years older than me, but I couldn't even touch him. And I saw how hard he worked, and I saw the things he did and trained. And like, he didn't just wait for a coach to tell him to train. He'd go run on treadmills. He just trained like nobody had ever seen before. And it gave me an idea of like, well, geez, if he can do that, you know, what could you do if you actually just committed yourself to the sport and really give it everything you got? And my last 2.5 years of college, that's what I did. And I thank him every day for that, because without him, there's no way I would have seen that light. He gave me the light to see this is what you could be, this is what you can do, is if you just dedicate to your craft. So I've always appreciated that a lot from him. To all my family in general, but mostly my sister Mary was at every single game. Didn't have to be. She was raising kids, young kids at the time, and she came every single Saturday, road games, home games. She lived in Sioux Falls, but she made it to every single game, and so I've always been very appreciative of that. My mom and dad, my dad, you know, even though he fell asleep watching football games a lot, it wasn't really a big thing for him, but he was, I appreciate the fact that he always kept food on the table and kept it going, even through the hard times, to get me to be somewhere like this and to be having a night like this. So I've always appreciated that. My mom, the one thing I don't want to, I could say a million things about my mom, but the one thing I just make it quick is when I played sports, she always told me if you're going to play a sport, do it the right way. And I think that's the one thing I could take from my family, is that just from Michael, my mom, from all of them, is like, if you're going to do something, just do it the right way. And that's one thing my mom always preached to me, and I hope standing here, she's proud of the fact that I did it the way that I think she wanted me to do it. So I appreciate her. And obviously, I think my wife had to, well, she's in the back, way back there, but I got 3 daughters, and so she's trying to manage them right now. But Cecily, I appreciate you. You were there all along, working when I was a junior and senior so I could focus on football, even buying me some cleats and gloves along the way back when we weren't married. But obviously, throughout the whole time since then, you've been great, and it goes all the way back to then, so I appreciate it. And my teammates, the few of you that could make it, but all the other guys that couldn't make it. As a running back, football is a very team sport. So as a running back, if I'm standing up here today, it means a lot of guys did a lot of things to make me have success that I had. It's literally one of the few sports where I cannot be great unless there's a lot of other guys doing a lot of selfless things. So I invited a lot of my offensive line, a lot of them did show up, and those guys mean the world to me, and they almost cry even talking about them. But they did a lot of things that they didn't get, celebrated for. I got my name in the paper and whatever. Like, they were just so happy to do like a Friday night meal at a Mexican restaurant. Like, that was their recognition. That's all they needed. And so I appreciate them. They were great all the way through. And all my teammates in general, I really appreciate them. One of the guys that I did invite, just name drop, is Josh Enders, and he probably hates that I'm saying this, but he's also in the Hall of Fame at Dakota Wesleyan. He was the starting running back before I got here. And so, unfortunately, I had to sit on the bench for 3 years because of you, Josh, but that's all right. But he set the standard for how to play football and how to play running back at Dakota Wesleyan. And so I basically just took the standard that he set and just kept it going. We had an ongoing joke there for a while that we just called it RBU, because me and Josh for 5 years in a row basically were, rushing for 1,500 yards every year. So it was, I appreciate the fact that he just set the standard, and you had to live up to something. You couldn't just take over the job and be average. You had to be better than Josh, I guess. So to my coaches, all my coaches, I really appreciate it. Coach Crenshaw was my running backs coach. He couldn't be here tonight. He coaches for Coastal Carolina, and obviously they're in the middle of their season, but he was great. Couldn't have asked for a better coach. As much knowledge as he had, he was great. All my coaches in general, I'd like to really thank them. But for the coach that I'd really like to say thank you to is Coach Simple, and I know he's standing right behind me. I'm not going to turn around and look at him every time I say anything, but he really did, when he took over the program at Dakota Wesleyan, he really did make it something to be proud of. Dakota Wesleyan, when I first got here, I would not say the football program was something a lot of guys took pride in. And I can honestly say that I would not be here in front of you guys if Coach Simple did not take over as the coach at Dakota Wesleyan after my second year. He made football something that me and all my teammates could take a pride in going and training so hard and becoming the players we were, because that's how he was. You knew if you were working as hard as you could possibly work, he was doing it. He was in the office till 10 o'clock at night. He was in the office till midnight. And one story I'm going to tell, not a long one, but it's kind of my relationship with Coach Simple, is when I was a freshman, I was on the scout team as a running back, and he was the defense coordinator his first year there. And one play, I was just kind of like loafing or whatever, not giving it my all. And he told me he was going to run me until he puked. So I was like, well, the rest of the time I was here with him, I was like, man, I better work really hard, because if he's going to run me that hard, then I better figure it out. But it kind of just encapsulates like who he was as a coach and what he did for the program at that time. And it did very much make it so when I would train on my own and whatever, like he made it so when I would come to the practice field or come to a game, you took pride in it. And at the time, the guys that played at Dakota Wesleyan at the time, they can vouch for that. That I know, like, that seems to people like college sports, everyone takes pride in it. Well, they don't. Not every program they do. And he very much made football at Dakota Wesleyan something to be proud of. And so I've always been very appreciative of that, and that is 100% the reason that I did commit so much to football and do the things that I did on the field. So, Coach Simple, I really appreciate it. In closing, I would just like to pretty much say that I'll always be thankful to Dakota Wesleyan and the memories that I have here, both on and off the field. It was a great place. Playing football here shaped me for who I am today. I learned a lot of things here. I learned how to work hard, learned how to battle through adversity, even though you don't really know. You just keep working and hope that it works out. You don't really know if it's going to, but it worked here, so that's the way I kind of attacked life, is just keep battling no matter what. I played football at Dakota Wesleyan not because I wanted to be up on this stage or, obviously the goal is to be a great football player and whatever, but I played football because I loved football. And it meant the world to me to be on a football team. Like, I can't emphasize it enough that what I missed the most about football is when I was in a huddle with the 10 other guys and you would look at them. And in my opinion, it is one of the few sports that when you look at all these guys, you're almost going to war with all 10 guys to accomplish a common goal. And I think the world, especially the way we are right now, not to get too political, but I think the world could use a little football. I think, like, people, that's the point of football. That's the point of, to be great, is to work as a unit to accomplish a common goal. And that's the thing I miss the most about football. You don't get that in life very often. In football, you got that. You got 100 guys that would all work their tails off nobody knew, were you going to be good or not? None of us knew. But we just committed to it, and you looked that guy in the eye, and you knew when you were out there that he had your back, and all 10 guys had your back. And that's why I invited the whole offensive line, is because throughout my career, every time I walked into the huddle, if the guy was giving me grief on the field, I knew all 5 guys were going to have my back. So that's probably the thing I missed the most, and like I said, I really appreciate you guys. In closing, so basically, football's a great sport. Dakota Wesleyan's a great university. I was just lucky enough to be able to play a great sport at a great university, and thank you.
Our next inductee is one of the all-time greats. Tamika Irvin, class of 2013 in track and field. Irvin is one of the most decorated athletes in Dakota Wesleyan history. She was Dakota Wesleyan track and field's first ever All-American, being honored twice for her efforts in the 100-meter and 200-meter dash. In total, she holds 12 top 10 marks at Dakota Wesleyan all time, along with 11 total school records, was a 5-time GPAC champion, and a 5-time member of the All-GPAC All-Conference team for her efforts both in indoor and outdoor competition. Her notable top all-time Dakota Wesleyan records include 7.27 in the 55-meter dash, 7.82 in the 60-meter dash, 11.92 in the 100, and 24.26 in the outdoor 200 meters. Irvin also had an impressive career as a jumper and was part of many of the institution's best relay teams throughout her time as a Tiger. Following her time at Dakota Wesleyan, Tamika went on to graduate school and obtained a master's degree in criminology in 2015, alongside her professional bodybuilding career that saw her win a plethora of awards and titles. She has transitioned her focus to keeping people happy and healthy throughout her career as an award-winning personal trainer in Colorado, along with her other entrepreneurial endeavors. Tamika currently resides in Aurora, Colorado with her husband, Jason Allen Robinson. Pat Belling is here to present the plaque to honor the newest member of the Dakota Wesleyan Athletic Hall of Fame, to Tamika Irvin.
Low-key, I wish that I wrote this down on paper, but we'll see how this goes. So, my journey to becoming a 2-time All-American and Hall of Fame inductee has been a roller coaster ride, to literally say the least. I came here on a whim, honestly. I had a cheer scholarship, and it was only a partial to some place in Atlanta, and I got a call from Belling, and honestly, I made up some times because I didn't even run my last year of high school, so I was doing relays, and then I got kicked off the team. It's a long story. But I made up some times, sorry, B. And somehow, some way, convinced him I was as good as I said that I was. And I ended up here running. And as much fun as it was, my first year completely sucked. I only did relays because I was plagued with shin splints that kicked my butt, honestly. And I had no idea, looking back, that this would be my story. Absolutely not. I was like, oh my God, terrible shin splints and everything. So I can't even imagine being here right now. But ultimately, in coming here and starting on the relays, I would have bet money and my whole life. Me, my 4x1, sorry. Me, my 4x1 team, and my 4x4 team would be celebrating. But that's not how it worked out. I apologize. But shout out to my incredible teammates. I know that our records are still standing. Alyssa, Kaylee, Natalie Munger, I love you guys. I'm so proud of us. Woo woo, go team. Now, I can't even begin to express how completely blown away I am at the new facilities. Holy buckets. You guys, round of applause, because it is great. Oh my gosh. It was amazing. I didn't have that. I'm a little jealous, I can't lie. But what I did have was the Christensen Center. That super, super long hallway in there, I ran that all the time, especially when it was cold outside. You could catch me blasting through that hallway. Be sure to not get in the way because I might have mowed you down. Sorry, apologies. But we had no indoor track facility. We had some treadmills, the acceleration, which is just another fancier treadmill. It goes really fast though, and some pool workouts that we did because, you can't run outside in December. It's snowing and cold. So we had to make do with what we had. And honestly, we didn't have very much, so the fact that we made do, Belling, we made do. I was two-time All-American champ, two-time All-American sprinter with no facilities. And what Belling did for me and the track team was he grinded the grit that he showed. We had that track thing that we had. It was a giant roll-up platform thing. Oh my God, it was 125 pounds. It was crazy. But I'm blown away because we managed to do it. And I managed to become the first woman in track and field history to get a two-time or to be crowned twice at the same meet and still hold several records that are still standing today. I'm just saying, with those new facilities, we better get your weight up, players, because, anyway. I am just so happy. This feels so incredibly surreal. The last time I was here was in 2013 graduating, and even then I'm pretty sure I missed it because I was at a track meet. So I can't believe I'm here. I'm so incredibly thankful, and I am thankful to my track besties, my track team. They were all super supportive and amazing in sharing some of those epic memories with me. My professors here that kept me on track, I absolutely adore them. I don't think any of them are here right now, but very happy and very thankful for my education. The track and field staff, so not only Belling, but Zeke Prado, Chris Creel, and our sweet co-coach Ian. Their dedication and passion that they brought to the track team was even more incredible. And I mean, they know we didn't have the facilities, so they was hyping us up on pure motivation. It was great. And I would like to thank, well, I know him as Coach Ross, Coach Simple, because he was the coach here, but the athletic director now, Ross Simple, and the Hall of Fame committee. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, because I was supposed to be here last year, but I ended up rupturing my Achilles, so I'm very, very thankful. Thank you for being able to come here this year to celebrate. Woo! My family, my friends that are watching, hi, I love you guys. Thank you for supporting me and loving me, and I know you weren't here during this journey, but I appreciate it. My sweet husband, Jason Allen Robinson, right here in front, I love you. Thank you for supporting me and being here with me. Last and definitely not least, Patrick Belling, the man, the myth, the legend himself. This moment would not be the same without you. Your guidance, your knowledge, your belief in me, and the support that you've shown me the day that I stepped here. You believed in me long before I believed in myself, because I sure did make up those times. Apologies again. But you honed my confidence, my strength, my speed, every single step of the way. You turned this raw athlete into a bad ASS competitor. Good day, guys. And I am forever grateful. We set records, we broke records, we reset records, and now we're in the Hall of Fame. Thank you. Thank you. This is a moment I'll cherish forever.
Our final inductees tonight, not an individual, but a team that put together one of the most memorable seasons in Dakota Wesleyan history, obviously. The 2014-15 men's basketball team, national runners-up. Under the guidance of Coach Matt Wilbur, the team soared to new heights during their historic 2014-15 season, which saw them reach the NAIA championship game and finish with a 32-5 record. The Tigers finished the regular season with a 17-3 conference record, tying Morningside for a share of the GPAC title. Produced 5 all-conference players, including the Great Plains Conference Player of the Year and first-team all-conference forward Jalen Voss. Other honors on the team included first-team all-GPAC guard Chris Menning, second-team all-GPAC honorees Trey Berg and Joey Mitchell, and GPAC Defensive Player of the Year Luke Bamberg. Matt Wilbur was also named the GPAC Co-Coach of the Year. In the NAIA National Tournament, the Tigers knocked off Milligan of Tennessee, Ashford College of Iowa, the College of Idaho, Davenport of Michigan, and then fell in the championship game to Cornerstone of Michigan. The 2014-15 team set program records for numbers of win with 32, field goals with 1,130, assists with 765, and points with 3,166. Lots of numbers. I would like to go off script for just a minute if I could. Sorry, Ross, but I'm going to take a minute. Just to tell you what a great pleasure it was for me to follow and cover this team, and I'm sure for you to watch them as well. To accomplish what they did, you've got to have something truly special. A group of players that worked together from start to finish, and when I look back, I remember what a unique blend of players that they did have. 3 components: toughness. I mentioned Luke Bamberg, who averaged over 7 rebounds a game. Menning and Voss were right at 6 rebounds a game. Defense. The Tigers allowed less than 68 points per game and held their opponents to only 42% shooting from the field, and at the same time, the Tigers on the season shot over 51% from the field. And of course, offense. Voss, Menning, Berg, Joey Mitchell, all averaged in double figures. Bamberg, Jade Miller, Jason Spicer, not far behind, 8-9 points a game. And I forgot about it, but I look back at my souvenirs from that season. The 3-point shooting was amazing. Berg, Menning, Mitchell, Miller, get this, they all shot for the season over 40% from the 3-point line. And as an entire team, the Tigers shot 40% as a team from 3-point line. They averaged 85 points a game. They outscored their opponents by an average of 18 points per game. Now, following their time with our basketball program, a lot of these guys have moved on to become attorneys, athletic directors, coaches, but above all else, they are great guys, great family men, valued members of their communities, and that's the best of all. To present the plaque to Coach Matt Wilbur is former athletic director Kurt Hart, Let's hear it for the 2014-15 men's basketball team.
All right, gentlemen, come on up. Yep, all of you. All of you. You get to stand up here as well, so. While we were down at the national tournament, I really set up a couple of our guys for failure. They had to give a couple of speeches, and I gave them no warning. So tonight I gave warning to two of them who are going to say brief things. Jalen Voss and Luke Bamberg are going to give a quick talk. Go. It's up to you guys. Go ahead. Slide down. Go ahead. Slide down there. Slide down. Slide down.
All right. Raise it up from Coach Wilbur a little bit. First off, thank you to Dakota Wesleyan and the Athletics Committee for the incredible honor of selecting our men's basketball team into the Hall of Fame. As Coach Wilbur said, it's a little over 10 years when our team sat in a restaurant together in Branson, Missouri, along with our sponsors. Before we began eating, Coach Wilbur asked me if I would lead in prayer. As a person of strong faith, and I'm sure our Reverend would appreciate this, I hopped right up and began with, Lord God, bless this food. Amen. With an incredible group of members we had, it would have been easy to add things like being thankful for bringing us together as a group, for the opportunity we were given to compete together, for safe travel to and from the tournament for us and family and friends, but nope, just wanted to bless the food. So it was very appreciated that Coach Wilbur provided a couple weeks' notice to myself and Jalen that we would be talking. There's so many names that go through the minds of our team that deserve thanks and praise that are either here with us tonight or couldn't make it, whether it's Kurt and John Hart, the athletic training staff, strength and conditioning team led by Coach Hobbs, any and all team makers, all fans that supported us throughout the season, whether home or away, people like Tim Smith who announced almost all of our basketball games, many people that are missing along the way with that great group. Biggest thank you goes out to parents, grandparents, siblings for all the support and love throughout our journey to make it to Dakota Wesleyan and throughout the years here together. Of course, to any spouses of players who will endure hearing story after story that our crew tells whenever we meet back up again. These guys on stage are not only incredible people that I am beyond thankful to have met, and all come from amazing, amazing families that all stems from. I have the rest of my speech here a little bit, but just kind of going off script a little bit as I'm sitting at the table listening to all the other terrific members that are a part of this Hall of Fame class. And it just kind of made me think just the paths that the good Lord leads you down sometimes. And how easy of decisions that people make that maybe you wouldn't have went to Dakota Wesleyan or went to a different college or an institution or maybe decided not to play basketball. But what a blessing to have this group of guys, whether it's coaches, players, to somehow all meet at the same time at the same year. So just want to end with, I thank the good Lord for my teammates and thank the good Lord for Dakota Wesleyan. Thank you.
Wilbs, thanks for the heads up this time. I'm not going to go over how bad my speech went at the Final Four because it went really bad. So we'll just start with what I got for you guys tonight. So good evening, everybody. Just wanted to start by saying thank you to everyone for coming here and showing support to all these inductees, and then as well as the 2015 men's basketball team. When I look back on my time at DWU and my time on the basketball team, I think about a lot of different things. But one of the things that sticks out more than the rest is one of the most incredible tournament runs, myself or any of these guys, I think I'm speaking for them, but I think they would probably say the same thing that we've ever been a part of. I know a lot of people in this room probably look back on Branson, Missouri a little over 10 years ago, and they think about the fun that was had down there. I mean, literally the entire town of Corsica was there, and that's not a joke. But for us, it was a business trip. Once we got down there, we realized that we may have a shot at this thing. We didn't really talk about it, but there was a new intensity in the locker room and around the practices that you could just feel. At one point, I remember specifically, Luke and we were talking about it, and we were like, hey, we're pretty good. I think we might have a shot at this. Not that we didn't expect it, but it seemed like all of our hard work was starting to pay off. And Branson was something that we will never forget, and it was a culmination of all the hard work that was put in and day out by every single person on this team. Honestly, for us, it was never about the moment or the amount of people that started following us or coming to our games. It was never about the trophies and the stats. It was about the process and the brotherhood that was built throughout. Whether it was at 5 a.m. workouts on a Monday morning, a tough practice in the afternoon after a loss, or a long 5-hour bus ride from Nebraska, we didn't care about any of that. The mantra of our team that year was tough and together. And no matter what the situation was, that we were all together, that was how we approached every single thing, tough and together. I don't think any of us could have imagined that what we would accomplish that year. Conference championship, national runner-up finish, now 10 years later an induction into the Hall of Fame for the entire team. So to the DWU community in the city of Mitchell, support you guys showed us during our season in 2015, as well as our run in Branson, was nothing short of incredible. Every game we won at the national tournament, we'd hear about different carloads of people that were driving 10-plus hours to Branson to be at our next game and watch us throughout our run. Branson did not know what hit it, and it was like the Corn Palace 2.0. To all our families and those that supported us, thank you. You guys were there. You made every single game feel special because of your support, even when we played on a Tuesday night against Trinity Bible College. To the coaching staff, Wilbs, Brandel, Shipley, thank you guys for continually pushing us. You helped us not focus on the end goal, but taught us to take everything one day and one play at a time. And that was how we would win. That's something that I use even still to this day. The end result does not happen without the work being put in. To all my teammates, I mean it when I say brotherhood. I know that I can pick the phone up and call any one of you and you will answer. More than likely, at some point, we'll talk about our team that year. Being a part of this team changed us all. Although it didn't end the way we wanted, we all know what we did was special, and sometimes the ball just doesn't bounce our way. So being honored here tonight has brought back all of these memories, and they've come flooding back. I can't wait to celebrate with this team one last time. So on behalf of the 2015 DWU men's basketball team, thank you to DWU for recognizing us and giving us an opportunity to celebrate one more time. Go Tigers.
Good job, fellas. Well done. I did want to do this. I've been to some Hall of Fames where the teams are up here, and all these guys are up here and their names aren't yelled out, right? So just going down the line, you saw Jalen and Luke, but Tate Martin, raise your hand when I call you out. Tate Martin, Luke Carr, Caleb Carr, Stephen Lee, Chris Menning, Jade Miller, Terrell Newton, Jason Spicer, assistant coach Jacob Brandel, Joey Mitchell, Trey Berg, student assistant Lee Neuenhaus, and Sawyer Gibson. We're missing two guys, John Vorwald and John Harmoning, and then one of our assistants, Jake Shipley. So great group of guys, obviously. I'm fired up that they're all here. When Jalen says one last play, this team was really special in a lot of ways because one play was Kansas under Utah double battle. And if I say that out loud like that, I'm pretty sure a couple of guys, when I say that, know that. Definitely not Jalen, wouldn't know that. The amount of times I heard Tate and Trey tell Jalen after we called the set, hey man, that's for you. You know, like, it's like you could hear him talking. But this, you don't know, I've just been really lucky. I'll lower this, Luke. I've been really lucky to be in this profession and be a coach. And this was my second year as a head coach. And this team was actually made the year before. And we had additions that were perfect additions to this group in this year. But the year before, when Kurt had when I got hired, Kurt told me we would win 6 games, fellas. He said our first year we would win 6. We ended up winning a few more than that our first year together, but we lost in the conference semifinals in overtime to Morningside. Not many people were there because it was a complete snowstorm. And had we won that game, we would have went to the national tournament. We lost 108 to 106 in double overtime. Maybe it was single overtime. I know only 4 players scored. Tate, you would have scored. You went 0 for 1. You missed a layup. We lost by 2. Caveat. Tate played 45 minutes. He had 11 assists and no turnovers in the game too. So, but that team, we went into the locker room, and I've never seen a more crushed team in a locker room. And the off season, we made a couple additions. Terrell Newton came on, and he was a great addition to the team. And then an amazing recruiting trip, not by me, but by our crew out to Deadwood for St. Patrick's Day, recruited Joey Mitchell, who was at Black Hills State at the time. So you can only imagine how that recruiting trip went. I wasn't interested in the details, but Joey showed up, and away we went, and adding all the other guys. I know Luke did a great job of thanking people, so I'm not going to repeat all those people, but there's too many people to thank. I would forget them. A couple of things with that season as we got going. Like, it was our second year, so we didn't know. I don't think the group really knew. I think we knew we had a chance to be okay and to be good. We just didn't know how good. It was throughout the year, things kept happening that we were like, that was pretty good, and I remember, the only time I remember talking about it was in one of our practices at the Corn Palace. We were huddled up, and I said at one time, I go, I don't know, guys, I think the ceiling is as high as it could be. We could win a national title with this group, but we're not going to bring it up one more time. We're just going to keep working. We're going to go. And when we got started, we went down to Iowa. We played Graceland, who has since won a national title. They were a Division I NAIA team, and we whipped them. I mean, we absolutely whipped them. And I looked at the box score, and the most striking stat, which is the most important stat to me all the time when we play, is the assist to turnovers. And we had 31 assists and 2 turnovers. One of them was yours, Terrell. You remember you turned it over trying to make a play at the end of the half. So I can excuse you for that because you had to get a shot up. But we had 31 assists and 2 turnovers in a college basketball game. There was another moment. We won a close game in a GPAC game in the Corn Palace. We had 19 assists and 0 turnovers. Like, nobody stepped out of bounds. Nobody traveled. This team functioned, and Tim talked about the offensive side, functioned together at the highest level. Our assist to turnover ratio that year was something like 2.4 to 1, and I spent some time looking this up, and it's the highest assist to turnover ratio in the history of basketball. Any level, men or women, NBA, WNBA, college, NAIA, any of it. And the 765 assists to like 302 turnovers, or what it was just a remarkable feat. And as we were going, we just kept hitting these benchmarks throughout the year. We had lost to Morningside. We gave up 108 points to Morningside. That ended our year, and early on we had them in a weekend, or we played a Wednesday, Saturday. We played them, who was a top 10 team, and then we played Midland on Saturday, who was the number 2 team in the country at the time. And we held Morningside to 68 points, and we beat them by 25. And then we beat Midland by 20, and we just kept looking at ourselves, and we were going. And the fire was there for all of us. We were all going. I'm pretty sure that this group, at halftime, if things we didn't feel good, would strategically put the trash can in my walkway as I was coming in the locker room just to watch it fly into the showers. That was, I don't think it was always put there, but these guys responded. The way they were allowed to be coached, and the way they responded to all the messaging was just really energy giving. We just had, I say this all the time to teams that I've continued to coach. The 2015 team, there just was never an eye roll moment between the team or from me as a coach to a player. And that's just so rare. That just doesn't happen. Not one time. Now, they were a competitive group. I remember Kurt pulled me into his office at one point, and he said he had watched us practice. And he goes, as only Kurt could do, he goes, Matt, I just have a couple of questions. Are are you sure we're doing this right? Because he goes, these guys are going to kill themselves. Like, they are going to kill each other. And I'm like, I can't do anything about it, Kurt. The only thing I can do is partner shoot. And they maybe knew this or didn't. We'd be practicing for 40 minutes, and I'd be like, hey, partner up, like shoot, because we could not practice against each other without somebody just absolutely going head to head. And it was the most competitive group that I've ever coached. We played our first conference game down at Nebraska Wesleyan on the season, and of course Nebraska Wesleyan had a change of coaching, and they went from not scoring any points to just throwing it in at any time. And at halftime, it was 59-59 was the halftime score. And I remember I went in, I didn't see what happened. Both teams had to exit in the same door. And I went in and was talking to the guys and, rousing and doing all that. And I just remember, like, hey, we're going to be okay. Let's go this. And then the reaction was just agitated and feverish. I'm like, oh, okay, Wilbs, you got this thing going in here. And then I find out, while we were coming in, one of their players was nose to nose with one of our guys, and just absolutely jawing him. And our guys were ready to just kill him. And shockingly, he picked that guy right there, down there with the glasses on. I'm surprised they picked him as he was running in. He didn't pick those two guys. He picked that guy. But everybody saw it, and they couldn't wait to get back out on the court. And we went on a 32-4 run to start the second half. And nobody said anything. There was no cheering. I was like, what do these guys have with this guy? Because I didn't know what happened. But every time we hit a three, they all just stared at him, whether he was on the court or on the bench. And it was what our team was. It was an assault on the basketball court of what we did competitively. We went to the national tournament, and we show up at the Dixie Stampede, which, if you've ever heard of this or haven't heard of this, is an amazing event. 32 teams show up. It's a dinner arena show. Everybody's showing up in 56 passenger buses. We roll in our people mover, short little people mover that Coach Brandel and I drove. They're all like, Wilbs, do not park that thing up there. There's like there's 30 big buses, and I'm yelling at him. I was like, hey, this thing's going to be here longer than any of those buses. We're fine. But we're going in, and I set these guys up terribly. I should have done it tonight too. I made them wear these blue polos with jeans tucked in. We look like the biggest. I just completely okey-doked our team, and it worked out perfectly. We walked in front of the team we played the first round. And as we're walking in, and Jalen is not meant to be wearing a polo with tucked-in jeans. Like he just is what he is like. And so we looked ridiculous. I know we did. I was kind of like, oh, my bad here. But the team we played is laughing out loud at us as we walk by because they can see DWU. And I was going over to shake the hands of the coach because I recognized him, and I could see their guys laughing. I was like, oh, heck no. And we beat them by 43 the next day. And a few things running off the court. I guess they're not laughing now. We just had a chip on our shoulder, and this team was built that way. I will tell you, I just live over a block away. I still own a house in Mitchell here, and I just live a block away. And on my turn off of Havens, I'm sure it's a great church. I really do. I'm sure it's a great church. It is the Cornerstone Baptist Church. And the amount of times I've thought about driving my car through that sign because of that last game is, I have to say a prayer and say, please forgive me for the thoughts I had about this, what I wanted to do to this sign. But this team won't be defined by one game and specifically one half. It's an amazing group of young men. They were a pleasure to work with, and often you don't know if you're in the best of times until after the fact. And it's the best group I've ever coached. They're the reason I'm still coaching. I'm thankful for all of them. They gave me more professional pride than anybody I could have ever dreamed of. I can't believe how lucky and proud I am and was to be the Dakota Wesleyan head coach, and these guys were a big reason for that. So my last thank you, without question, is to this group of guys. And I could speak about all of them, but they're very special people. So thank you, gentlemen. Congratulations, Hall of Famers.
Now, if we can have the basketball team step back and have everybody else step forward so everybody's here in one group and we can see everybody. Tamika's somewhere back there. No, everybody step up. I would just like to congratulate this entire group. Again, everybody, all the inductees, all at once. There's a ton of stories, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more shared later tonight and hopefully throughout the weekend. So, just again, one more round of applause for all the inductees. Just got a couple quick announcements, then we'll get everybody out of here. But Jalen mentioned the whole town of Corsica down there. I was coaching football at the time, and I think the championship game was on a Tuesday night, if I remember correctly. We were supposed to start spring ball on Monday, and we had to have a staff meeting Sunday night with our coaches because half of our team was in Branson, and we wouldn't be able to practice. So we actually pushed spring ball back until Wednesday. And sounds like I wasn't down there, which is probably a good thing. Sounds like there was a good time had by a lot of people down there, Corsica and most of the DW football team. So good times, and hopefully some of those stories stay amongst you guys, and I don't ever hear about them. But just a couple things. Again, we appreciate this. Obviously, it's a Friday night. Just want to go through the schedule real quick. Tomorrow, if you're going to be around, we'd love to have you a part of all of the events that we have going on. We have the parade at 10 o'clock. We're going to start tailgating at Joe Quinto Field for the football game at 11. All the inductees will have reserved parking spots, at the stadium with our distinguished alumni as well. The game will start at 2 o'clock. We're going to recognize these inductees again at halftime of the football game. And again, kind of what we've talked about with all the awards and accolades that we've talked about with our current team and the fall sports. One thing that I am unapologetically trying to do and our department is trying to do is talk about how many great things our people are doing currently and obviously past groups. And anytime we can get any recognition in front of a group of people, whether that be academically, athletically, we're going to do it because this place is a special place. I've been here for 15 years and don't have a reason to leave. And it's because of the people. And so we want to recognize all those accomplishments, all those people as many times as we possibly can. And tomorrow's going to be a great day to do that. So hopefully everybody can make it. We'd love to have you out there. And like I said, this kind of concludes everything that we have and for the evening. Like I said, we got volleyball going on, so if you got a chance, head over there. And we'd love to see you over there. Everybody up here, inductees, please stay up here. We'll take a picture with Mr. Wheeler quickly, and then if there's any other individual pictures, go ahead. Make sure you take your flags, take your booklets on your tables. We appreciate everybody coming. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, congratulations. Yeah, thanks, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, good to see you, man. Thanks for coming. Thank you for having me. Appreciate you.
Hey, Pat.